he's somebody who speaks about his faith all the time, and how that gets him through and guides him to make the right decisions about his entire life. And you don't really hear a lot of athletes speak about their faith the way that you do. And I wanted to know, how did you have the courage to start doing that from a young age? Because it's not normally done. You don't hear athletes doing that. How did you have the courage to do that?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that it's amazing to see young faces here. As young people who are leading this next generation, sitting here, it gives us inspiration. We're inspired by seeing you because you are up next, right? And like when we're up here, we can see how you all are taking and receiving it. So I just want to say, first of all, that matters, right? That you're all here. There's a lot of, everybody's getting back ready for school. It's holiday weekend. Not everybody's sitting in these seats. That you're making a commitment by being here today. So I just want everybody to give them a round of applause. We are in the house of the Lord right now. We are in this, and so for me, I grew up in these seats. You know, I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, and my parents, you know, much like people say, like I grew up in an environment where that was important. I just remember sitting in these seats, but at some point, and this goes back to what John said, at some point, I had to make a decision that the God who I keep hearing about, the God my parents are talking about, who are reflecting every day, that relationship with God had to be my own relationship. My parents were great, they still are great. And part of my mission, you know, as a father, I'm a father of 7. So my wife and I, you clap again. My wife and I just celebrated 29 years. He was a big inspiration to me. You know, he doesn't talk about a lot of that part of his life, but you know, I watched him. You know, watch how he fought through the obstacles, and the obstacles that we faced weren't just on the court, right? The obstacles were more off the court. When we got on the court, we had a job to do, we were locked in. But the obstacles came like with the temptations and the criticism and the validation that came when we left the court. So we watched people, I watched people who did those things, and I watched my father and people growing up, how they handled themselves when they left the gym. Because that's when you get to see the real you, right? So, to your question, my father was my basketball coach in college. And growing up, I saw how he mentored, and he taught, he coached other people that I looked up to. I looked up to the people who played NBA, my father was coaching them. That made a big impact on my life. But when he said that his relationship with me should be the same or should reflect his relationship with God, that really had a big impact on me. And so my faith really is about a relationship. It's how can my relationship with God be really deep and personal and transparent and vulnerable, and how can that move me forward? Because there are a lot of things we're not going to be able to control. Like I think everyone else up here can acknowledge that our best days when we felt like our best performances, like the day, man, we were killing it that day. Before that game, we didn't feel good. Like we didn't feel good physically, mentally, emotionally. We didn't feel good. There was something more powerful than us that was working in us, right? That allowed us to get through it. We had a season where we had to play 3 games back to back to back, 3 games in a row. Like people talk about back-to-back games and the toil and how the NBA and WNBA season takes on. They had to play year-round. They had to go to the WNBA season and go overseas and play almost every day. right? So my point is, there has to be something bigger than us that we're playing for. And some people will say, what's that something bigger? What's more powerful than you? And I say that it's not just a thing, it's a person. It's a God is real, he's a person, he has a relationship, and he moves you in ways that he moves you towards him. And that when I understood that, I was 14 when I really tried to understand that God is real, and he chose me for something big and special. But there was a period of time, probably for the next 10 years of my life, from 14 to the time I came here to New York, where I was like, I know God is in my life, but I'm not really committed. I'm not all in. When you play on a team, and you play on a winning team, you know the difference between playing on a winning team and a losing team. On a winning team, everybody's all in. Nobody's like, I'm halfway. Nobody. On a winning team, everybody has to be all in. That's what I experienced when I got here. I felt like there was a period of my life where I was like, nah, I'm not all the way in here. I'm just on the team, just kind of floating, coming to practice sometimes, and just showing up. That's how my relationship with God was. And so when John says, what gave me the motivation and the courage to live and speak out, I think what happened was I met people like John, met people like Charlie Ward, met people who were mentors to me, who showed me this is how you are called to live this life. So when I came from Detroit Pistons, we played on a team that wasn't really that good. We got better my third year. When I came to New York, it was a culture shock because every little thing we did was pointing to winning. From the time we walked on the bus, the things that you said, the pictures you saw, the practice habits, everything we did from sunup to sundown was about one goal, that championship, right? And so the reason I say that is because I was taught that my relationship with God had to be the same way. You can't go halfway. And when I was taught that this is, and I got to see how it was done. See, a lot of people, you'll see someone who talk about faith, and then you'll see them like, wait a minute. You talking about faith, but I just heard what you said, and I just saw what you did. Right? I got to see the consistency. You got to see it and experience it, and then you can say, oh, now I know how to walk this thing out. You know in your spirit that this is what I'm supposed to do, and how I'm supposed to see myself and walk it, but it's hard when you don't see it. And then when you can see it, but then you're not got the training. So everything is our training and our mindset, right? The decision, when Ron talks about decisions, our decisions are a result of our mindset, right? Behavior. Mindset creates a behavior change. So where does our mindset come from? So I've learned that my mindset has to come from the mind of Christ, the mind of God. Once that's my mindset, then I can walk it out. And I had people, so my faith and my conviction came from my training. I mean, it comes from my training. So we're all still trying to walk it out. Like this morning, I was just talking to my kids about that when it says in Psalm 119, it says, blessed is the man who walks with the Lord, right? And the Bible says that who is blameless. Blessed is the person who is blameless who walks with the Lord. Now, blameless doesn't mean perfect. So we're not saying that we have mastered this at all. There's nobody masters this. But what I think what God is saying is, keep your heart and your mind pointed toward me at all times. And I will show you how to walk, and I will show you how to walk out. And that was my inspiration. Because when you taste something really good, when you go to a really good restaurant, and you taste that, man, that restaurant right there, that food, that appetizer, that food, you taste that, and then you go to somewhere else and fast food, like, nah, man, I don't want that. this good meal, on this good life, keep you coming back. And that's basically what inspired me is I saw how my mindset and how I was able to start to deal with all the obstacles. I was able to make better decisions, and I was able to perform better because I was able to prepare for it. Like, I had bad games, I had injuries, I had all that. But how I dealt with it was really what got stronger, right? And how I saw it, you know, and the thing that I kept thinking about when I think about our choices and obstacles, they're necessary. Like, they have to be part of our journey. But it's not what happens to you because it's happening actually for you. Right? And that's the difference.
You know,